Ohayo gozaimasu. Sorry. Hello and welcome. Today we're in the upcoming Tier 10 US battleship, the Ohio. And I had an interesting match in her where the enemy team just kinda ignored me and let me get really close. And she's still a work in progress though, so she is subject to change. I expect her to be nerfed, and I just wanted to share this match with you guys. It's on everyone's favorite map, which is Tears of the Cruisers. It is domination mode though, so it's not quite as bad for some of the cruisers, and we spawned on the northern side, and I wanted to go for the A-cap at first, but then I realized that nobody is there, at least none of the enemies are over there. So I figured, hey, I'm gonna start going south instead. I'm gonna use these islands to creep closer to them and then hopefully get into CQC so I can use some of my amazing secondaries and perhaps even deal some massive damage to ships that are broadsiding me, because I am technically flanking them, right? Like, I will be on their side, and this should allow me to deal quite a bit of damage. Now, of course, it might not happen, right? Because if the enemy sees that I'm pushing from this direction, they might be like, oh wow, there's somebody there, let's sink him first quickly so that he can't flank us, right? Because it makes sense to do so. But, spoiler alert, it doesn't happen, so I can get close and do some things. It also seems that everybody on this team seems to be congregating over that C-cap. It's good for us, we're probably gonna win, because we hold the A-cap. There are no ships anywhere on that side of the map for the enemy team. Like, there are literally 0 ships on the entire northern half of the map. In fact, the highest ship is at G, on the G line, not even on the F line. They're not like even in the middle. I don't think I've seen something quite like this, at least not on a map that isn't like ocean. That's good for me though, because I don't have to face heavy resistance from the ships that are coming directly at me. I'm also using my concealment right now. That's what is the concealment on the ship? Oh, it's 14, right, yeah, 14 kilometers. So I don't actually, if I don't fire, that Yamato cannot see me, and I'm not planning on firing right now. I want to see one of those ships come out from behind the island so I can sink them. That Cleveland, for example. And she is, so let's try. By the way, I seem to really like the Ohio. I have almost 200k XP earned in her, and she's a test ship, meaning that I'm not using like economy flags or anything on this ship because it just doesn't make sense. I am using an XP camo, but that's it. And the XP is just stacking up because I just keep playing the ship. It's so much fun, but I suppose the ship being very strong kinda makes it that way. I take a shot on the Worcester, but I don't think this is gonna do much because... oh, never mind, I didn't even lead enough. I wanted to say that my experience is that I don't seem to be able to get citadels on Worcesters, but if I don't even hit the middle of the ship, well, I don't even have to consider whether it's gonna do anything or not. Okay, now that I'm getting closer, I'm gonna take a shot on this very broadsiding Yamato that seems to have ignored me most of the time. And I'm gonna start sailing directly towards the Georgia head-on, because there's 48k damage. That Yamato just lost half her HP. And that was just the front turrets too. Okay then. Anyway, I want to head straight towards the Georgia because I don't want to get citadeled, and there's a Minotaur there too. So I want to do the same thing and continue going in that direction in case the Minotaur launches torpedoes, so that I can avoid them. My rear turrets are still turning, so I can't finish off the Cleveland yet. The secondaries are working on her. Oh, she's gone. Oh wow, the Henri actually detonated her. And now it's time to try to finish off this Minotaur. Hope she didn't torpedo or something. Okay, 33k, and let's finish her now. Goodbye, Minotaur. And I think I kinda got away with it. Yeah, okay, I did take 20k damage here, but I got away with it because I'm still alive and I still have 51k HP. I also have a heal in 4 seconds. The question now is, what do I do? Because I am the closest ship to the enemy CV, so the CV is probably gonna come pay me a visit. And I'm probably gonna take some damage, and there's a Georgia pushing behind me. The Yamato is probably gonna push behind me as well, and there's a Soyuz ahead of me, so... I wonder what should I do? Should I just sit here? I think if I'm gonna sit here, I might be flanked though, as in the Soyuz comes from the front and the Georgia comes from behind. So I think I'm gonna try to take a fight with the Soyuz ahead of me, and with the benefit of hindsight, I'm gonna say that that's a mistake. And the reason is that, you see those ships in the distance, the Yamato, Hindenburg, Montana? Well, when I push the Soyuz, those ships can much more easily engage me, right? So that is the mistake. But at this time of playing the match, I didn't quite realize it, because those people had ignored me, right? So I figured that they'll continue ignoring me. Okay, Soyuz. Oh! Lexington. Okay, I'll take the CV then. Georgia is pushing, I think. There it goes. Not quite half the CV, but quite a bit of her. Now the question is, what do I do now? Another mistake is that my rear turrets are turned the wrong way. They are in no way useful in this kind of fight. Take a shot on the Soyuz, I deal 31k damage, and now I'm gonna push forward. I should have shot the CV again and tried to ram the Soyuz instead. That would have been the better choice, but I didn't do that, unfortunately. So now I'm just hoping for a shot on the Soyuz again. And there she goes. I thought the Soyuz sank me, but that's not true. The Yamato actually sank me. You know, the ship that I mentioned, that those that were in the distance. The Yamato actually fired on me and hit me really hard. That wouldn't have been possible if I hadn't pushed out, because I would not have been broadside on. And so, yeah, I would say that pushing out there was a mistake. I should have just sat there and fought the Soyuz, or at least just shelled the CV. And then rammed the Soyuz. Because then I would have done slightly more than I did this time, but I mean, we're still gonna win, so it doesn't really matter. Let's just speed to the end of the match here, because this is pretty much over. I mean, 840 points to 250. We hold 2 of the 3 caps still, and it's like 8 ships versus 4. Yeah, it's not gonna happen. This Jean Bart tried hard and did actually quite well, but he still went down before the end of the match. But we're still gonna win by points. And there's nothing they can do about it. This Georgia was pretty much stuck here and next to this island like the entire match. Which is an interesting situation to be in as one of the fastest battleships, right? Anyway, there is the victory. 200k damage, only sank 1 ship but 9 citadels in a battleship. That is quite amazing. I don't think I've had that many citadels in a long time on a battleship. Number 1 in XP, almost 2000, but not the greatest. I suppose fighting lower tier ships does that to you. Here I can see the damage, and I only survived for 9.5 minutes and I did 200k damage. Imagine having this kind of performance in a 20-minute game, right? Okay, you probably wouldn't have that great of a game in that case. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I would like to thank the patrons on Patreon. Thank you very much for your continued support, Quelhoth, and I hope I'll see you guys next time.